In a move that sent shockwaves across the international community, U.S. President Donald Trump proposed a controversial plan to displace millions of Palestinians from Gaza. This unprecedented idea, announced last month, suggested a U.S. takeover of the Gaza Strip. The plan involved resettling the Palestinian population in neighboring countries. The announcement was made during a high-profile press conference, where President Trump outlined his vision for what he termed a new era of peace and stability in the Middle East. However, the proposal was met with immediate and widespread condemnation from governments and human rights organizations worldwide. Critics were quick to point out the numerous flaws and potential dangers of such a plan. The Gaza Strip, a densely populated area with a long history of conflict, is home to over 2 million Palestinians. The idea of forcibly relocating such a large population raised serious concerns about the legality and morality of the proposal. The logistics of resettling millions of people in neighboring countries were also called into question. Many wondered how these countries, already dealing with their own challenges, would be able to accommodate such a massive influx of refugees. Human rights organizations were particularly vocal in their opposition. They argued that the forced displacement of Palestinians would constitute a grave violation of international law and could lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. The proposal also sparked fears of further destabilizing an already volatile region. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been a source of tension and violence for decades, and many worried that this plan would only exacerbate the situation. International law experts weighed in, stating that such a move would likely be deemed illegal under various treaties and conventions. The potential for increased violence and unrest was a major concern, as was the impact on the lives of millions of Palestinians. The humanitarian implications of the proposal were staggering. Refugee camps in Gaza are already overcrowded and under-resourced, and the idea of relocating millions more people seemed logistically impossible and ethically questionable. The international community, already grappling with the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, found itself at a crossroads. Diplomatic discussions intensified as world leaders sought to address the potential fallout from Trump's proposal. The Trump administration's proposal threatened to further destabilize the region and derail any hopes of a peaceful resolution. Peace talks, already fraught with difficulties, faced new challenges in light of this controversial plan. The proposal underscored the urgency for a viable and just solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one that respected the rights and aspirations of both Palestinians and Israelis. As the world watched closely, the need for a peaceful and equitable resolution became more pressing than ever. The international community reacted with swift and resounding condemnation of the proposed Gaza displacement plan. The plan, which aimed to forcibly relocate thousands of Palestinians, was met with immediate backlash from various corners of the globe. Leaders from different nations, human rights organizations, and international bodies all united in their opposition, highlighting the severe humanitarian and legal implications of such an action. Governments, human rights organizations, and international bodies voiced their strong opposition, emphasizing that the plan would not only destabilize the region further, but also set a dangerous precedent for international law. The collective voice of dissent was loud and clear, resonating through the halls of power and across media platforms worldwide. Calling it a dangerous and unacceptable escalation of the conflict, these entities warned that the displacement could lead to increased violence and suffering. The potential for a humanitarian crisis was a significant concern, with many fearing that the already fragile situation in Gaza would deteriorate further. The United Nations, a staunch advocate for Palestinian rights, vehemently denounced the plan. The UN Secretary-General issued a strong statement urging all parties to respect international law and protect the rights of civilians. The UN's position was clear: any forced displacement would be a gross violation of human rights and could not be tolerated. The European Union, a key player in the Middle East peace process, expressed grave concerns about the humanitarian implications of the proposal. EU officials highlighted the need for a peaceful resolution and stressed that any actions undermining peace efforts would be counterproductive. The EU's stance was firm, calling for dialogue and negotiation rather than unilateral actions. The EU emphasized the importance of upholding international law and finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict. They reiterated that any solution must be based on mutual respect and understanding, ensuring the rights and dignity of all parties involved. The message from the EU was one of solidarity with the Palestinian people and a call for justice and peace. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and other prominent human rights organizations condemned the plan as a violation of fundamental human rights. These organizations pointed out that forced displacement is prohibited under international law and constitutes a form of collective punishment. Their reports and statements brought global attention to the plight of the Palestinian people and the urgent need for international intervention. The proposed displacement, they argued, would amount to collective punishment of the Palestinian people and exacerbate the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. The region, already suffering from years of conflict and blockade, could not withstand further strain. Humanitarian organizations warned of severe consequences, including increased poverty, displacement, and loss of life. The international outcry underscored the widespread consensus against the forced displacement of populations and the violation of their human rights. Protests erupted in cities around the world, with people from all walks of life joining in solidarity with the Palestinian cause. The global community's response was a powerful reminder of the importance of human rights and the need to stand against injustice. The Trump administration found itself increasingly isolated on the world stage, facing mounting pressure to abandon its controversial proposal. Critics argued that the plan was not only inhumane but also strategically flawed, as it would likely lead to greater instability in the region. The administration's stance drew sharp rebukes from allies and adversaries alike, highlighting the deep divisions and the urgent need for a more compassionate and effective approach to the conflict. In a dramatic turn of events, President Trump announced a complete reversal of his administration's plan to displace Palestinians from Gaza. During a meeting with Irish Taoiseach Michael Martin, Trump stated definitively, "Nobody is expelling any Palestinians from Gaza." This unexpected announcement came after weeks of mounting international pressure. While the Trump administration cited the need to avoid further escalation and maintain regional stability as reasons for the reversal, it is widely believed that the intense international backlash played a significant role. The administration faced mounting pressure from allies and partners who expressed deep concern about the potential humanitarian and political fallout of the displacement plan. The international community, relieved by the U-turn, welcomed the decision to abandon the controversial proposal. The reversal signaled a victory for diplomacy and multilateralism, demonstrating the power of collective action in upholding international law and human rights. However, the episode served as a stark reminder of the fragility of the situation and the need for a sustainable solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Section 4. Hamas's response. Hamas, the Palestinian Islamist group that governs the Gaza Strip, welcomed President Trump's reversal of the displacement plan. Hamas spokesperson Hazem Qassem hailed the decision as a victory for Palestinian resistance and international solidarity. He emphasized that the plan's retraction demonstrated the international community's rejection of such policies. Another Hamas spokesperson, Fawzi Barhoum, called on Israel to seize the opportunity created by the U.S. policy shift and engage constructively in ceasefire negotiations. He urged Israel to implement all terms of the ceasefire agreement, emphasizing the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza and the need for immediate relief. Hamas's response highlighted the group's pragmatic approach to the situation, prioritizing the well-being of the Palestinian people in Gaza. While welcoming the U.S. policy reversal, Hamas remained cautious, emphasizing the need for concrete actions from Israel to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian population. Section 5. The world reacts. The international community breathed a collective sigh of relief at the news of President Trump's reversal on the Gaza displacement plan. This decision marked a significant shift in the U.S. administration's approach to the Middle East conflict, and it was met with widespread approval from various global entities. The United Nations, which had strongly condemned the original proposal, welcomed the decision. The UN had been vocal in its opposition, citing the potential for increased instability and humanitarian suffering. The reversal was seen as a step towards de-escalating tensions in the region. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for all parties to seize the opportunity to re-engage in meaningful dialogue and work towards a just and lasting peace. He emphasized the importance of addressing the root causes of the conflict and ensuring that the rights and aspirations of all people in the region are respected. The The European Union, a vocal critic of the displacement plan, expressed its satisfaction with the US administration's decision. The EU had been particularly concerned about the impact of the plan on the prospects for a two-state solution, which it has long supported as the best path to peace. The EU reiterated its commitment to supporting a two-state solution and called for the resumption of negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. European leaders stressed the need for both sides to come to the table and engage in direct talks to resolve their differences. The Arab League, which had previously denounced the proposal, welcomed the reversal and called for international efforts to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The League highlighted the dire conditions faced by the people of Gaza and urged the global community to provide immediate assistance. The international community's response highlighted the broad consensus against the forced displacement of populations and the importance of upholding international law and human rights. Protests and demonstrations around the world had underscored the widespread opposition to the plan, reflecting a deep commitment to justice and human dignity. The episode served as a reminder of the need for diplomacy and dialogue in addressing complex international crises. It underscored the importance of collaborative efforts and the role of international institutions in mediating conflicts and fostering peace. The global reaction to the reversal was a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring hope for a peaceful resolution to one of the world's most intractable conflicts.